Dear researcher and any student, please subscribe, like, share and comment to CampusTube. Now let us see about cross-sectional study design. A cross-sectional study is an observational research design that collects data from a population at a single point in time or over a short period to analyze relationships between variables. Characteristics of a cross-sectional study. 1. Snapshot of a population. A cross-sectional study provides a single time point assessment and it is useful for measuring prevalence. 2. Observational in nature. This means that the researcher does not intervene or manipulate any variables. 3. Simultaneous measurement of variables. Both exposure, example smoking, and outcome, example lung disease, are measured at the same time. 4. Large and diverse populations. It often includes large sample sizes to improve statistical validity. Now let us see advantage and disadvantage of cross-sectional study design. Advantages of cross-sectional studies. 1. Quick and cost-effective. 2. Useful for prevalence studies. 3. Helps in identifying the burden of diseases or risk factors in a population. 4. No follow-up required. 5. Helps in public health planning. Disadvantages of cross-sectional studies. 1. Cannot establish causality. 2. Prone to bias, selection bias and recall bias. 3. Cannot track changes over time. Examples of cross-sectional studies: health surveys, behavioral studies, epidemiological research, social studies. Conclusion: a cross-sectional study is a useful, cost-effective research method for assessing prevalence and associations between variables at a specific point in time. However, its major limitation is the inability to establish causation. It is widely used in epidemiology, public health, and social sciences to guide policymaking and future research. Now time to do some exercise about cross-sectional study design. Here are 3 case-based multiple-choice questions related to cross-sectional study design, along with detailed explanations of the answers. First, try yourself. Question number 1. A researcher conducts a study to determine the prevalence of diabetes among adults in a city. The researcher randomly selects 2,000 individuals and collects data on their fasting blood sugar levels and lifestyle habits at a single point in time. Based on the above case, what type of study design is used in this research? Cohort study design. B. Case control study. C. Cross-sectional study. D. Randomized controlled trial. Correct answer: C. Cross-sectional study. Explanation: this study measures both exposure, lifestyle habits, and outcome, diabetes prevalence, at the same point in time. Cross-sectional studies are often used to determine prevalence and associations, but cannot establish causality. Unlike cohort studies, which follow participants over time, and case control studies, which compare past exposures between groups, a cross-sectional study provides a snapshot of the population at a specific moment. Question number 2. A team of researchers wants to investigate the relationship between smoking and lung function. They survey 500 individuals, asking about their smoking habits and measuring their lung function using spirometry on the same day. Based on this case, what is a major limitation of this study design? It cannot establish causality. B. It requires long-term follow-up. C. It only includes hospitalized patients. D. It is more expensive than a cohort study. Correct answer is, which means it cannot establish causality. Explanation: cross-sectional studies can identify associations, example, smoking and reduced lung function, but they cannot determine whether smoking caused the decline in lung function or whether people with reduced lung function are more likely to smoke. Unlike longitudinal studies, cross-sectional studies do not track changes over time, making it difficult to determine cause and effect relationships. While these studies can be relatively inexpensive and quick, they are limited in their ability to make definitive conclusions about temporality. 3. Researchers conduct a study to examine whether excessive screen time is associated with obesity among teenagers. They visit several schools, measure students' body mass index (BMI), and record their average daily screen time through a questionnaire, all within the same week. Then what is a key advantage of this study design? A. It allows researchers to determine the direction of causality. B. It is quick and cost-effective. C. It eliminates all biases. D. It requires following participants over time. Correct answer is B. It is quick and cost-effective. Cross-sectional studies are relatively easy and inexpensive to conduct because they do not require long-term follow-up. They are useful for public health assessments, such as determining the prevalence of conditions or behaviors in a population. However, they do not establish whether excessive screen time causes obesity or vice versa, reverse causality. Other biases, such as recall bias, self-reported screen time, can also affect results. Thanks for your attention. Please subscribe, share, like, and comment to CampusTube. Thank you. Goodbye.